The Uncivilized Vitality program has, of course, the health and wellness part, where we give advice that we've gleaned from the lifestyle practices of some of the pre-civilized peoples. Movement, nourishment, restoration, hygiene, and community, and the action steps or decivilizing steps you can do there to support your health and wellness. Happiness, get back out into nature. So our fieldcraft part is where we teach you to safely and in an environmentally responsible way get back out camping, hiking, just enjoying the outdoors. The third part of the Uncivilized program is the philosophical underpinnings, and is by no means necessary to adopt this philosophy as your mainstay, but make for some interesting contemplation when you're working on the health and wellness or out in the field. A philosophy there's lots of different definitions, but I guess a real simple one would be a perspective from which to experience your life events. So just sort of your anchor, and this is the perspective from which I experience life or judge things or evaluate to make value judgments and things from a philosophical standpoint. Religion fills this role for most people, or I guess a lot of people. Different religions come with underpinnings of philosophies, although sometimes we don't really think of it that way. And there's many different schools of philosophy. You can get into the big houses of philosophy like physics and metaphysics and aesthetics and ethics and politics. The Uncivilized philosophy is a little easier, more straightforward. Think of it as largely based in Stoicism. And there's quite a bit of Zen Buddhism in there too, little tenets. But just thinking about the things won't turn you into a Stoic necessarily or a Buddhist monk. There's a lot of things that are common to most world religions, and just again to help you establish a perspective that maybe a pre-civilized human living in a small hunter-gatherer band, or some pastoralists, or even some Arctic hunters would have these outlooks on life, I think, in general, and they could help us today. We have the 13 points. The first one, our main one, is living according to nature is best. Nature with a capital N. Okay. Living according to nature is best. And then each of these can be unpacked a little bit, in some more detail, and we might do that in some other videos. The best way to get into the Uncivilized philosophy is to pick up the student handbook or come along on some of our adventures. We use these points as starting points or catalysts for discussions and lighthearted debates about different aspects of life in the woods. But our first and main one is secundum natura muere sunum bonum est, or living according to nature is best. And we can unpack this a little bit. But the main thing comes down to we've kind of we began as a part or an intricate part of nature. We evolved to be a part of nature, and for the last few thousand years at least, we've moved into cities and exploiting nature more than living with it in the form of agriculture and some of our different environmental practices that aren't really that great. But nature has a couple underlying rules, and one of the first ones, at least for the uncivilized, is nature works on sacrifice. Before you stop watching, it's not like a cult induction, but the Latin sacrificium, it just means an offering or a trade for something of value. So, people hear sacrifice, they think like, roasting a goat for this god or that god, or maybe even tithes at church, or different things you can sacrifice as a way of gaining information or knowledge or something of value. And we use this, nature demands sacrifice. If you want to eat, not to be too harsh about it, if you want to eat, something else has to die. That's just how it works. Even if you're on a strictly vegan diet, you eat the carrot was a living thing, you had to kill the carrot in order to eat it, or the carrot had to die. So that's part of sacrifice. Eventually all things die. We'll get into that later with the momentum mori and some of those aspects. But on civilized vitality, we take this living according to nature. Nature works on sacrifice. If I want to be healthier and happier, I'm going to have to curb or sacrifice some of my habits. For instance, I can't eat cheeseburgers and Pop-Tarts every day. That's a sacrifice I have to make in order to eat healthier foods so that I have greater health and vitality. Giving up Pop-Tarts and cheeseburgers is not that big a sacrifice, but you understand hopefully what I'm saying with the idea. And there's different types of sacrifices. If I want to get the benefits of being outside, I've got to sacrifice some of my time, maybe something else that's easier to do, to make time to go out in the woods camping on the weekends. We offer an event, at least one event every month. So there's always time you can find to go with us if you're in Michigan or want to call up and check out one of our adventures. But if you want to get something of value is going to have to be given in return. That's just how nature works in the big sense. The reason we sacrifice and get that time out in the field and live in and with nature, following circadian rhythms and other tidbits that nature gives us to stay healthy and happy. If we follow these and make these sacrifices, we'll end up with our other big philosophical point, which is eudaimonia. This is a state of life that is serene, joyful, and enthusiastic. So this is sort of think of being happy, healthy, prosperous. Living a good life. You're healthy, you're happy, you're doing well. That'll require, from a philosophical standpoint, sometimes a reframing or shifting of perspective. Sometimes that's going to require sacrifice. Living within my means, that sort of thing. It may be in a monetary sense. I might want, I don't personally, but I might want, let's say I want a great big yacht, and that's not something I can afford and have a car and a house and a trailer. So I would have to sacrifice some of those in order to gain value in the area that's more important to me. Right? But the main point, if you want to live a life that is serene, joyful, and enthusiastic, keeping your health and happiness is most important. You're going to have to sacrifice some of the pleasures of civilization, the easy, immediate return stuff we do now, the fast food, some of the going to the gym and running on the treadmill or doing the Globo gym type exercises that aren't really conducive to health. All that's got to go. Living according to nature is best. There's a lot to unpack here, but we're really in Uncivilized Vitality. Our philosophy is geared toward helping all of us achieve a state of eudaimonia, a healthy, happy, and prosperous life. So if you're interested in the philosophical videos, I'll post up the other 12 tenets with a little bit of explanation there. Let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in, and we'll do the rest of these, maybe even unpack them further. Maybe put a booklet together, maybe get a book on the philosophical tenets. But check out the idea of living a serene, joyful, and enthusiastic life. And then subscribe to the channel, and check out our social media, and let us know in the comments if you'd like to see more of these.